What's up? This is Joe from DED, and you're listening to Thunder Underground.
Welcome to episode 334 of the Thunder Underground podcast. Trent here as always. It's Halloween week, and at least the last few Halloweens, we always tried to have a guest that kind of somehow related, even if not directly, at least a band that had imagery or something. We've had Alan Robert from Life of Agony, because he's got his adult coloring book series that's based around horror. On for a Halloween episode, we had Kenny Hickey from Typo Negative one year. This year we've got Joe Cotela. I say we. Those previous ones were we. But now it's just me, so. This year I've got Joe Cotela from DED joining me. DED is a fairly new band. They're on their second album. Their first album came out about 4 years ago. And they've made a pretty good name for themselves in the hard rock and metal world over that time period. We'll talk more about that here in a few minutes before we get into this episode with Joe. But before we do, I need to let you know who we're sponsored by, and that would be Sunset Tattoo. Tattoo shop based in Tulsa, Oklahoma in the Midtown area. Their tattoos are done good and proper. They're state licensed. And most importantly, they're mother approved. Give Jake a call or send him a message to set up a time to talk about what work you'd like to have done. You can check out a ton of the previous work, 25 plus years of experience, on their socials. Instagram and Facebook are both Sunset Tattoo Tulsa. I've had a tattoo done by Jake. I'm very happy with it, and I know several other people that have as well. So get on there and check his work out and get a hold of him and let him know you heard about him here. We've also got Med Farm, a dispensary located in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma at 24683 East Highway 51. They're right off the highway. They have a drive-through, making it convenient for you. If you place your order ahead of time, you can whip right through there and get that and not even have to slow down, probably. You can get on Leafly.com, check out their entire selection, and go inside and check out their entire selection. They've got a huge selection. They're always running specials on their socials. Facebook is MedFarm, that's PHARM. Instagram is MedFarmOK, and their website is medfarmok.com. If you mention Thunder Underground, they'll give you 10% off your first order. And most importantly, they are cannabis with a cause, because 30% of their proceeds, 100% of the time, go to build no-kill animal shelters. So get over there, support a great cause, get the products you need, and also mention Thunder Underground to get your discount. We've also got Hella Hot Sauce, a hot sauce company based out of the San Francisco Bay Area. They make small batch artisan hot sauces. They do a lot of collaborations with metal artists. They've got one with Florida Frank from Hatebreed called Florida Frank's Florida Heat, one with Ghoul called Brain Jerk, one with Techno Destructo, founding member of Gore, called Garlic Death Grip. They've got ones coming in the future from Zetra of Exodus and Death Angel as well. So when we get a hold of those and try them out, we'll let you know about them. But in the meantime, get on their website, hellahotsauce.com. You can see the entire selection there. You can also purchase, and they'll ship to you. Or if you're on the West Coast, there are a lot of stores out there. So hit them up and tell them you heard about them here. Finally, we've got DED Concerts, a promoter based in Tulsa, Oklahoma, who brings tons of great shows to this area. They brought in bands like Saxon, Buck Cherry, Last in Line, Beasto Blanco, Striper, Warrant, Snoop Dogg. A long list that keeps getting longer. They also book the Roadhouse stage at Rocklahoma. This year they brought in John 5 and Stephen Piercy of Rat and Puddle of Mud. They've got a lot of great shows coming. They've got announcements coming soon, so hit them up at dbconcerts.com for up-to-date information and ticket info. And also, we'll let you know here as soon as new announcements are made as well. So huge thank you to DED Concerts. The subject at hand this week is Joe Cotela from DED. But before we do that, I would like to play some music, because throughout the history of this podcast, we've been going 6.5 years now. We've played a ton of music throughout the years, but we've also kind of got away from it this year. You know, I've been in and out, working out of town. I've had less episodes this year. So we've had less episodes than included music when we have had episodes. You don't need that explanation, but so this is the first song that I think I've played in quite a few episodes. And Dirty Rotten put out a new track here a couple months ago. I figure it's high time we get it on here. So check this song out. It's called Fever.
Fill it up with kerosene. Drop a match down the hatch. This is burning clarity. Watch it all go up in smoke. I can barely breathe, but bigger flames always equal better therapy. This works just like magic. Take all of your baggage, drop it into a dumpster, light it, turn it into ashes, melt the intentions, wrapped up in plastic. This is a sickness and I think the whole world has it. I'm running a fever. It's gonna burn me up. It's gonna burn me up. My hands are waving inside. I'm blazing. I gotta break it before it breaks me. This hurts, dripping acid, going up with all the gases. I burn just like passion, feel it turn into flashes. Hell's within inches, the basement to the attic. The heat is building as it starts to wreak its havoc. Embers in my jacket, think I finally had it. Flames become a status, watch it go up with the leader. Slow inferno with the glow, burn the house down for leisure. Blowing devil's cabbage, lock myself inside a freezer. Keeping cool but heating fuel, been creeping up inside my ether. Scorching like the madness in the 50s on the reefer. Cooking ends upon my head, the way that I just got a fever.
That was Fever from Dirty Rotten. Great track right there. I love the chorus on that thing. Huge sounding song. And the great thing about Dirty Rotten is we played a couple of their tracks in the past, and Dusty from Dirty Rotten has been on this podcast before last year, probably about a year and a half ago at this point, talking about everything he's got going on with the Dirty Rotten Studios, as well as Dirty Rotten, the musical act, that he puts all this stuff together. He produces, writes, records it all. Brings in special guests. The female vocalist you heard on there was Melissa Fox, who I've known for quite a while and seen her live many, many times. Excellent vocalist. And I'm saying that out loud. I should probably get her on here sometime. She's never been on this podcast. Dirty Rotten. Check them out. Hit that link in the description on wherever you're listening to this at. Give them a follow on all their socials. Check out their previous music as well. Dirty Rotten's always dropping new tracks. And like I said, they're a wide range of styles. So it's always good to hear new stuff from Dirty Rotten. All right. Joe Cotela of DED was on this podcast right about a year ago. Episode 289. On that episode, we talked a lot about the previous album, the EP they had put out that summer, and the pandemic. And he talked about the fact that they had a new album coming, and at that point, they had this album ready, I'm pretty sure, because, the 3 tracks on the EP were kind of a taster for the album to come, and a lot of bands, as you know, set on albums and put them out this year, or closer to when they were touring. We just talked to Kevin Martin from Candlebox a couple episodes ago. They did the same thing. They had their album done even before the pandemic started and then pushed it off till just a few weeks ago. And DED kind of did the same thing. They had this album done quite a while back and they pushed it off until about a little under 2 weeks ago. I believe it was October 15th they released their second album, School of Thought, right before they headed out on this tour that they're on right now with In This Moment and Black Veil Brides. So this tour is a good lengthy tour. So if it's coming to your area, pull up the dates, check it out. 3 great rock bands, hard rock bands, heavy metal bands, whatever you want to call them, touring the country together. We talk a little bit about that here in this episode. But this new album, School of Thought, from DED, is a great album. I listened to it a few times before I talked to Joe. Really dig what they're doing. He talks about it here coming up, how there's a lot of different styles on this album. They kind of branch out a bit. They've already got their 3rd album in the works, so I'll be excited to see where this band heads in the future. But they've got a great sound, and I don't expect them to disappear anytime soon. So if you're not familiar with DED, if this is your introduction, I'm happy to be the person doing it. If you pulled this up because you're a fan of DED, I appreciate you listening as well. Like I said, Joe's been on here before, so check that one out. But in the meantime, let's jump into this and hear what Joe has to say. Here's Joe Cotela of DED. School of Thought's been out about a week now. Like, what is the response been like so far from fans and critics and everything?
Killer so far, everything I'm seeing. I haven't gone onto YouTube yet. That's usually a rough place for for comments. But everything's been really killer so far, man. I'm very happy, with the way people have been responding to it, because you put yourself into something and you put it out there, as you know, and it's it's killer, man. It's been really good.
You guys put the EP out last year, so
right.
You'd kind of set on this for quite a while. Like, is that kind of frustrating? What's that feeling like, setting on music for so long whenever you've got it ready and you want the world to hear it?
Yeah, it was terrible. We put out, a couple songs and then a song here or there, came out throughout the pandemic, just knowing, we can't wait for the album until we're touring, we had to have that momentum of a tour, to really give it, a real release. And we didn't want to just kind of throw it into the abyss and hope something happened with it. So it was difficult, man. It was hard. And, I've said it before. It's like, fans say it sucks waiting for music, but it sucks to have music that you made and not being able to give it to people, because that's really its purpose, is to be shared and given to people. So it was rough, dude. There was really some hard times. I wanted to just, I had some moments where I had my finger on the, on the button to just post something, and then I didn't do it. I had to walk myself off the ledge, but But yeah, so no, it was difficult, but it's so cool to have it out now, and all that's in retrospect now. It's all in the past.
So once 2021 hit and touring started happening a little slowly but surely, and we're getting back there now, it was a conscious effort to wait right until you guys were going out on this tour to release this album.
Yeah, that was the idea, man. We really only have one album out. We're still a new band, and for us, like momentum's huge, and touring is like, live show. I mean, that's the way. That's what we do. Live shows is where we thrive. So yeah, we wanted to be able to tour and play the new songs for people and really be there and be in touch with everybody. I mean, that's huge for us. So we felt like waiting, if we put it out in the middle of everything, we were, just feeling like it just wouldn't, it wouldn't have the same impact. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the first album, like, what do you feel the biggest progression is from that album to this album?
In my opinion, it's cool. It's just a little more diverse. It's a different producer, so it sounds different as well. I think it sounds a little more sonically, a little more fatter, a little more bigger. Maybe a bit more produced on this one. The other one was a touch more raw. So I think it's cool to mix it up a little bit, and who knows what we'll do on the next one. We've been riding like crazy for the next one. So it won't be a 4.5 year gap this time like it was, which so fucking long for a new band. Again, we're a new band, so you can't wait that long. It's crazy. So yeah, we've been writing a lot, and I think we let a lot more influences in this time. Last time it was a bit more honed in on a sound, and this time that sound exists. That's the core of our band, and that's always going to be Dead and all that kind of stuff. But I think we broadened that horizon a bit. Let a lot more of our influences in, because we listen to so many styles of music. So I think there was some cool kind of alternative vibes that got mixed in here, some industrial stuff, of course, heavy stuff, some, that new metal vibe a little bit, of course, is always there. And then, some punk and, all that stuff. Like we mix it all together and just makes, I like to call it like cooking a meal. You just put in whatever ingredients taste good to you. And if the song tastes good, then you release it,
Personally, I noticed that from listening to it, that it sounded a lot broader, and kind of like you just said, there's a lot more going on this one than there was on the first album, I think.
Yeah, well, that's cool. Yeah, and I don't know if that's a good thing to some people. I'm sure that's not a good thing.
Right.
To some people, it is. And to me, it is. It's liberating to be able to really do whatever feels good to me. And I'm sure for the guys as well. Whatever makes us happy. Whatever resonates in us, we feel like will resonate in other people, because we're all kind of the same thing. We're all people, we're all humans, and we all experience and stuff. So that's all it comes down to. And we had to make an album that we loved, and we had a lot of songs that didn't make the album. I'm sure a lot of people may have liked. I don't know if those will ever come out someday or not. Might be cool to do some giant B-sides, because we have a lot of B-sides, but we'll see what happens.
Well, when it comes to that, like, how do you separate what you consider a B-side compared to what you guys are focusing on for the next album? Is there a separation there of like, this is sounding different, so we want this for the next album? Or
right?
I don't know how to word that really, but I think you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, I got you. Yeah. Like, and it really comes down to just that moment in time. Like, what do you feel like right now when you're working on this album? You have 2 or 3 months that you're putting together an album. It really comes down to how you feel. And then, maybe if you did it 3 months later, it could be a totally different album, because you might have been feeling differently, but that's what's cool about it. It's a snapshot of a moment in time. It's like a yearbook, and
yeah.
And it's just how we're feeling at that time. And I think that's such a cool thing. It's like a photograph in a way.
Yeah. We kind of answered this, a little bit a minute ago with the sounds and the production and everything, but I was going to ask you about Kevin Turco, because, you guys got a great producer here. Like, what did he bring, besides what you already talked about to this album to make it, stand out a little different than the first one?
Yeah. I mean, he's just a different person than John Feldman's a different they're just different humans, and they have different things and different experiences that make them who they are. And John did our first album. And so on this with Kevin, I mean, we went to him because he makes enormous sounding albums, and he makes them sound huge and heavy, but clean and understandable. And just sonically, he's just, I don't know, he's just amazing. And then as a person, he's a great guy, which is so important. He's just a great person. Like half the time we're just in there talking about stuff, you know, and just connecting as people. And I think that's half the experience, not even working on music, is just being close with that person and getting them as close to you as possible so they become a part of you and a part of the band. And he really did that. And so, you know, and then he's a genius. You know, he knows music theory like crazy, and he knows how notes work really well. And he's worked with, you know, Mutt Lange and done, you know, Def Leppard and fucking, you know, Ozzy Osbourne and, you know, crazy stuff. So he knows things, and he had me try things vocally for sure that I'd never tried before, and really pushed me to try some unique things, which was killer, because that's all I wanted to do, was try different things. Find different ways to use my voice, find different ways to communicate my thoughts and my emotions through music, you know? So it was just awesome. It was just great. I had no complaints about anything. It was just, and it was almost surprisingly smooth to where you're just like, wow, this is too easy, you know? So it was awesome.
So it'll probably be one of those things you'll continue to work with him on the next one, or you make that decision when that time comes.
Yeah, I mean, I plan on it. I talked to him the other day, you know, so I think we will. Yeah.
Talk about the decision to cover The Cure. Was that you, or was that Kevin, or was that someone else in the band, or where'd that idea come from?
Well, it was actually Maria from In This Moment. She's my woman, my lady, my love. And she was out there doing her album the same time as us in Vegas. We were out there together, and we had a house, and we were just hanging out one night in the backyard and listening to music. And we put on, you know, we were talking about, like, because I had sang on her album. I did a song with them on in This Moment's album called Hunting Ground. And we were like, oh, it'd be cool if you sang on my album too, you know. And we were out there and just working on all kinds of music. So she brought up, you know, we listen to The Cure all the time. We're huge fans of The Cure. And she showed me a version of this band called Snake River Conspiracy that had covered it in the 90s. And then, you know, we were like, wow, it'd be really cool, because there was a female singer in that. It sounded really cool. So we thought it'd be really cool to do it as a duet, but make it way heavy and like kind of industrial and real creepy and like, you know, stompy. And so that was kind of like, you know, her idea, really. And then, of course, I was just like, yeah, I love The Cure, and I would love to do a metal version of The Cure. I haven't really heard many of those, if I've heard any, honestly. So that's how it came together. And then we just did it. and it turned out like to be, I love it. So I'm so cool. So it was amazing to work on a song together.
Yeah, I love the fact that when I first saw, you know, I saw the track listing, it said Love Song. I just assumed it was a song called that. And then even when it started, I didn't realize what it was until I heard the lyrics.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which is cool. Like, we really tried to make it our own thing. And so it wasn't like banking on people like wanting to hear the Cure song, you know, like, you know, there's been some great, like that 311 cover of it is so good. I wasn't even trying to do it. You know, the Cure and 311 already did it so good. So I wasn't even trying to go in that route. We wanted to go a completely kind of unorthodox route. And we really did. We listened to that Snake River Conspiracy version, was a pretty heavy influence on it. And, but then we did, you know, the DED version of it, I guess, is what it would be.
Well, speaking of In This Moment, you guys are currently on tour with In This Moment and Black Veil Brides. And,
yeah,
you know, all three bands are heavy, but they all three have, you know, decidedly different styles. And I always love whenever tour packages like that. Kind of talk about what you think about this tour package as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, it's cool. They're all the bands are heavy, right? They're all heavy rock metal bands or whatever, but we all have our different vibes. Yeah, we have, you know, our kind of groovy hip hoppy shit mixed with whatever we do. And then, you know, Black Veil's a bit more like a little more traditional, straightforward, kind of like Misfits, Avenged Sevenfold kind of vibes. And then In This Moment is their own thing, you know? And so I think it's really cool, man. And everybody has, you know, it crosses in between too, because there's a lot of melody and everybody's influenced by similar bands. And so it goes really well. And it seems like the fans all like it a lot too. It seems like it's really cool. And, you know, whether it's, you've never seen one of the bands before, so you're getting opened up to somebody new, because seeing someone live is such a huge thing. And all the camps are getting along. It's flowing so smoothly. It's like I was saying with recording our album. It's like, it's almost too easy. It just seems like it's just flowing seamlessly. and everybody's cool and respectful, and it's just like a big family out here. So it's great, man.
Hopefully you're not on edge, like waiting for the ball to drop or anything.
For the what?
Waiting for the ball to drop or anything like that.
Yeah, right. Like you're waiting. It's like too damn good. Like that Nickelback song, like things are too damn good or whatever. So he's waiting for it to get, No, I don't think that way. But yeah, I mean, now you're saying it, shit. Who knows? But no, yeah, we ran into COVID out here. Two of the guys from this moment got COVID, and so we missed a couple shows. But then two of my guys filled in for them, so we could keep playing. And like I said, so it's just everybody's got each other's back, and it's just flowing. So it's all good.
Well, speaking on that, did you have any reservations, like, heading into the tour, like coming out of this pandemic, or were you just kind of confident that you're ready to get back out there and get this thing going?
There's a little bit of reservation, but I was pretty confident, man. We wanted to go back to work. We wanted to go back to living our purpose and playing music. And so, I was pretty ready to go. It was long enough for me. And, we're being safe, and we're telling other people to be safe, and that's the best you can do, really. We can't hold everybody's hand, but it definitely, I wanted to get back out. I'm here for it.
And you guys recently played Aftershock. Like, talk about what that was like, getting back out there on a festival stage after all this time.
Yeah, that was amazing, man. The Danny Wimmer festivals are just always the best. They take care of you so well, and the lineup was. Our night was like the original Misfits with Danzig was the headliner, and then like Mudvayne did a reunion on our stage that we were on, and fucking Gojira, and just like it was just such a sick day. Atreyu, friends, and so it was just such a sick day. Yeah, it was so good, and being back up on that stage out in Sacramento, we've done Aftershock 3 times now, and this was the third one, and it just felt amazing. And we love, and we feel grateful to be a part of the Danny Wimmer shows, man. They're really like nothing like them.
Your Halloween show this year is coming up in Pittsburgh, and all three of these bands kind of, are tailor-made for a Halloween show. Is that something you guys care about or think about, or are you into that kind of thing?
Totally, man. Yeah. I mean, we've gone through things, and, we definitely get the aesthetic going for ourselves, and body paint and all that kind of shit. And, we used to do like white contacts, and we used to wear like black jumps, straight jacket suits and stuff. So we always did that. And, Black Veil Brides has done a few things. And in this moment, of course, is very theatrical. It does a lot of fun stuff. I think they're pushing on that show, like a costume party style thing, like where people dress up and you can win prizes. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. So I think, it's very, dark and creepy vibes from everybody, so I think it's a great show and a great tour for that, without a doubt.
Do you have any memorable like DED Halloween gigs from the past?
Oh, you know what? We did one in Flagstaff in Arizona. That was awesome. And we all dressed up in costumes, or at least I did. I think the other guys may have too. But I remember that show just being awesome. That was kind of a little bit more early on for us, and it was a headliner, and it went really well. And I really look forward to to doing more shows. It's fun to dress up, it really is. And I used to be so against it when I was younger. I was Mr. Punk Rock, and like it's it's not cool to dress up, but it really is something cool when you find the right thing. It's very empowering, and as just like an actor or whatever it is, and I used to be in drama, and I was in all that kind of stuff in high school. I really enjoyed it. I wasn't like a drama nerd or anything, just don't get twisted, but I did everything. I loved everything. I love art, I love sports too. But so anyway, like, yeah, it's when you get into a character, it breathes something new into the show and into your live performance. It really does. And so, yeah, I really enjoy it, man. It's really fun to mix it up. I've gone through some different phases, and it's really fun to change that and adapt into however I'm feeling, for that time period.
Last time you were on the podcast about a year ago, you mentioned working on some acoustic stuff at home with Maria. Is that anything you guys did any more of, or recorded anything or anything?
We did a little bit. We didn't record it like properly. I recorded some stuff myself. And it was really fun. Back out on tour now, I haven't touched a guitar. But we had a lot of fun doing it at home.
Gotcha. Well, as far as besides, your new album, and I'm sure some of your friends' albums, like, is there any album that's come out in 2021 so far that you're like really digging, new music style wise?
Oh shit. I started, I always do like a little end of the year type thing where I kind of write down my favorite albums that have come out. I started working on it the other day.
Oh, nice.
So as far as friends, Wage War's album is incredible. Beartooth's album is incredible. I love the Afterlife album. And then some other bands that those just off the top of my head, but some other bands that I've been feeling. The Slaughter to Prevail album was fucking awesome. Leon Bridges is probably one of my favorite releases. Really cool, like soul rock stuff. Turnstile's album's incredible. Gate Creeper, The New Every Time I Die is fucking nuts. This band called Bummer, I'm loving. So anyway, that's a few ones that I've been jamming on.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, with this album coming out late in the year, I'm sure looking into 2022, you're still going to be, riding the wave of this album. So like, do you guys have plans to tour like as soon as spring hits, or is that something that's still in the works?
Yeah, no, we're doing the Viragos cruise, which is another Danny Wimmer thing, with like I think Rob Zombie, Mastodon, and Mudvayne are the headliners, and we're on it with like Atreyu and Afterlife and some other bands, and I think we're gonna probably try to do a tour maybe around that, so maybe in February or March, I think is what we're talking about, and hopefully like a headliner type thing where we can play a longer set or a co-headliner with someone. And so yeah, that's all getting put together. So yeah, a lot of touring coming up, but that's the only thing that's like solid on the books is that cruise.
Gotcha. Well, as far as you already mentioned writing this next album. Do you foresee it with having more time to write, in the downtime of the pandemic, like making this album kind of like you mentioned on, School of Thought, having more going on than the first album? Like, do you think the third album is going to kind of be the same way, another, progression?
Well, I'd like to think that we're progressing, I mean, that's always to me a positive thing. But progressing doesn't necessarily mean like anything really. It just means, just writing good songs really ultimately to me. So to me, the demos and the newer stuff I have right now is pretty super heavy, actually, probably heavier than anything we've ever released. Oh, so, nice. I don't know what we're going to write in between now and when we do a new album too. So, I mean, and then, that might be wrong actually too. There's some really cool kind of spacey, like trippy shit we've been writing, and you just don't know until it's done and you kind of put it together. So, I mean, it really could be a bunch of different things, So, but I hope that we push ourselves to a new place and that we, find new ground and make something interesting and thought provoking for people to listen to, I mean, that's what I like to listen to. And that's what I want to put out into the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A final question for you. You mentioned you like sports. Are you a football fan?
Yeah. So
your NFL team there in Arizona seems to be doing pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. Although it's hard to keep track of everything. I know we were 4-0 for a minute there, and I haven't kept track honestly in the last couple of weeks, but I know we're kicking ass. It's awesome.
Yeah. They're 6-0 now.
6-0. Jeez. Yeah. No, that's amazing. That's amazing. I think I may have heard that as well. It's so hard to follow while we're on tour, man. We're so busy, but I know the dudes are following all the time and stuff too. But yeah, dude, killing it, man. Kyler Murray, and I mean, I'm stoked on it, man. I hope we can fuck some shit up. But once we get off tour, I'll be able to watch more football, and I'll be amped on that.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
All right, man. Well, I love the new album. Looking forward to seeing you guys live down the road, and thanks for joining me once again.
Yeah, dude, thank you for having me again, and we'll have to do it again, somewhere down the road.
There you go, Joe Cotela of DED. A huge thank you to Tim from Atom Splitter PR for his help with that one. And, of course, a massive thank you to Joe for taking some time out there to call me while they're out there on tour to talk about everything DED's got going on. So if you have not yet, get a hold of their new album, School of Thought. I think you'll dig it. If you have not heard anything, look them up, pull them up online, delve into these guys. Great younger band that's got a great future in front of them. Follow them on all the socials. That's DED, DED. I think they're smart there. Leaving that A out, because when you search DED, they pop right up. So do that. Search them, let it pop right up, and then click follow, like, subscribe, whatever platform it is. Same with Thunder Underground. Wherever you're listening to this, hit subscribe or like. You can listen to our podcast most anywhere. podcasts are heard. You can also listen directly from the website, thethunderunderground.com. All the socials are listed there too, so you can follow us. If you see a post on any platform, if you like it or share it or comment, that's an awesome way to help out the podcast. Helps it get spread around. All that great stuff. If this is your first time listening, I really appreciate it. As I mentioned earlier, Joe Cotela has been on here before, episode 289. I've also had on John Connolly of Seven Dust, Elias from Nonpoint, Johannes from Avatar, and had Chris Taylor Brown from Trapped on here. And if you're, a fan of rock music and you follow up-to-date stuff, you'll kind of know the 2020 he had, maybe 2019 and 2020, on social media, and we had him on the podcast, and, he came through at a couple points as well in grand fashion. So if you like Trap, check that out. We've also had on some Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, like Gene Simmons of Kiss, Glenn Hughes of Deep Purple, and many other great acts. Vivian Campbell of Def Leppard and Dio, Dizzy Reed of Guns N' Roses. We've also had on guys from Killswitch Engage, Megadeth, Tesla, Great White, Warrant. Man, the list is super long. Sons of Texas, Battlecross, Paige Hamilton from Helmet, Tommy Victor from Prong, 2 of the guys from Corrosion and Conformity, 3 of the guys from Hatebreed, 2 of the guys from Down. The list is great and long, so check it out, thethunderunderground.com. And that's it. I think that covers most everything. So once again, a huge thank you to Tim from Atom Splitter PR, and of course Joe from Dead, Sunset Tattoo, Med Farm, DEB Concerts, and Hell Hot Hot Sauce. And until next time.
Thunder Underground, y'all.